Shabbat Shalom and welcome. I'm Rabbi Javier Carapan, and I am joined this evening by Leslie, Howard, and Warren. Always big thank you to our BOW committee for bringing us beyond our walls, and to our additional docents who are managing our streaming. I was speaking to the, at least Facebook, and there seems to be quite a few people there's like the calm before the storm. I see you're watching from home, so then on Sunday you will come for Rosh Hashanah.
We'll see them all on Sunday and Monday. And we thank you all for being here with us today as we gear right up.
In a bit, we're going to have Ask the Rabbi High Holidays edition, and at home you can also post the comments on Facebook. I don't know that you can do anything with
on the virtual sanctuary. You can.
Yes. All right.
We finally got
Dave,
the chat up on
we
virtual
have the
sanctuary.
chat feature. I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't know. It's not that I forgot. I'm sorry. So virtual sanctuary is the most stable. That's good to know for high holidays.
Yes.
If you are not able to join us in person, make sure to go to the virtual sanctuary and you get the best color, saturation, everything is the best.
Yes, true. Best focus.
Mm-hmm. So you can get your questions ready. If you post them before, Dave will read them, and then we'll go that in. Leslie will be our moderator. She will help us a little bit, as always. We're using a different Siddur, Mishkan Halev, and treasure it because today and next week, next Friday, that's the last time, and then we won't touch it again for a whole year. I can't believe that this is happening so
I feel
soon.
like we just started a little yesterday.
No, I feel like we just started planning it. Like we sat down and said, okay, we're going to do this and that.
It does feel like
Too
that.
late now, though. Yeah, I was sharing earlier with some other people that that Leslie sent me something this week, and it said, it was one of the cue sheets that we use, and it said, final. I said, oh, well. And it's only Wednesday, so that's great.
We only changed it 3 times after that.
So it's wonderful. I'm really excited to welcome Rosh Hashanah together. But before that, we have Shabbat to welcome. Make sure that you turn off your electronic devices and you put them in silence. So at least for the next hour or so, we get a little of the peace of Shabbat as we gather together. We continue together on page number 6. Before we slip too quickly into the season of the soul, let there be a Sabbath of Sabbath for the heart. Before the music of creation's majesty, let there be a silent praise of existence. Before the feast of sacrificed words, let there be a poetry of solitude. Before we enter the palaces of prayer, let us find within ourselves a place of calm. Before we revel in the wondrous and sublime, let there be an honest inward gaze. Before the rites and ceremonies of awe, let there be quieter days, an island of attentive. Candles ready at home, we invite you to light them and join us on page number 10.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue welcoming Shabbat with the psalm from Kabbalat Shabbat. It is Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat.
That repeats.
Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. מזמור שיר ליום השבת.
Tov, I'm sorry. Tov lehodot le'Adonai ulezamer le'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir le'yom HaShabbat. Mizmor shir le'yom HaShabbat. Mizmor shir le'yom HaShabbat. Mizmor shir le'yom HaShabbat. We join together page 21. Peace is with you, angels of stillness. Enter, bless me, give me rest. God knows I need you. God knows I'm asking, harried, impatient, at war with myself. Make your home in my soul. Fill my home with your light. Let me breathe in your quiet. Help me, Savior, Shalom. Peace is with you, angels of stillness. Enter, bless me, give me rest. We join together on page 22 with Lecha Dodi. השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי די 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 לקראת כלה, די 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 פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכוב לך, היא בכל הברכה מראש, היא קדם לסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי די 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 לקראת כלה, די 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 פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי די 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 לקראת כלה, די 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 פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עצרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תחם לעם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
לך דודי די 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 לקראת כלה, די 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 פני שבת נקבלה. We continue together. Page 29 in the middle of the page. Holy is twilight, the realm of in-between. And so our sages taught, pray in the moments when light and darkness touch. We're all twilight people beyond categories and labels. May the sacred in-between of this evening suspend our certainties, soften our judgment, widen our vision. Let it illumine our way to the God who transcends all boundaries and definitions. Blessed are you, God of all, who brings on the twilight. Olam Beit Yisrael, Amecha v'Torah, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Alechen Adonai Eloheinu, v'shokmeinu v'kodeinu, nasiach v'chukecha, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
You may be seated. We continue on page 35. Ve'ahavta for Elul. You shall love the ones who are close with all your heart, with all your spirit, with all your strength. Remember these words, inscribe them on your heart. Love them when they struggle, when they sadden and disappoint you. Love them when they fail. See the good within them, even when they can't. Look at them and listen, even when it's hard. Be grateful for their guidance, even their reproof, when they save you from yourself. Love them when they give you joy, and love them when they don't. When you lie down, let go of anger. When you rise up at dawn, begin again. Praise them for their deeds at home. Speak of them in public with respect. Bind yourself to the ones you love. Speak to them in public with I'm sorry. Did I skip that?
You just went back.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
Sorry. Bind yourself to the ones you love with promises kept and vows fulfilled. Open to them the gates of your heart, the doorway of your souls, and let them know you. So shall the ones you cherish feel your love, your presence, and your care. Continue together. Page 41. Eternal, watch over my small domain of light and shadow, those few people who share my love, all others upon this earth, that sometimes shakes with thunder and reverberates with lightning. Help us to live with fear and conquer rage. Heal the hate that makes us kill and covers the ground with this Red Sea, that only you can part, so we may all walk through the wilderness. to your realm of peace, when all men and women are one, and sing your blessed name.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נטר בקודש, נורא תהילות תוסף אליהם, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, צליאנו ויאמרו,
Adonai Himlok Leolam Vaed.
ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We join together in the middle of page 45. Peace comes with the sunset, cool breezes ease the heat of day, all things settle into stillness, gentle song of crickets, moonrise and the silence of night. Give us shelter in your presence, bring peace to those who yearn for peace, enfold us in your quiet, let our fears find rest in you.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת, לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Geulah livnei bneihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye metim atah Rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalchel chayim bechesed, Mechaye metim berachamim rabim, Zohomek nofelim verofech olim, Umat מתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, ויום ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, ויום ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי.
As we gather on this Shabbat, we turn our thoughts to those in need of healing. For those of you joining us remotely, virtually, you can type names. For those of us here, we have a chance to say names out loud. Start on this side. Yes. Go ahead. Thank you. Over here, anybody? Thank you. As we think of all those in need of healing, on page 77, we joined in the Mishabera prayer.
The ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
May the one who blessed our ancestors bring blessings of strength, compassion, and healing to those of us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround them with loving kindness, grace, companionship, and peace.
Those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
It is now time for our Simcha moment. If you are so moved to share a Simcha, you can type it on the comments and I'll get a chance in a moment to read them. And for those of us here in person, you can come up here to the Simcha mic and stand on the X and share your Simcha with all of us. Where's Carol when we need her?
I would say, to me, it's a simcha. A lot of work goes into the High Holy Days for the music. And Warren is our choir director, and both Warren and Howard are in the High Holy Day band, and they're still here. And that is a simcha for me that they just keep showing up.
You told us we had to.
Yeah, but you listened. I'm married. I'm not used to that.
Oh, yes. Well, if you can, or we can repeat it if that's
Yeah, I can
more
repeat it if you
comfortable.
prefer to stay.
Oh,
Yay!
good, you want to repeat it?
Michael and his wife are new members of Congregation Beth Torah. Sherry? No, Jerry. I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry.
You can see their back. If you turn around, Dave can catch you. There you go.
And you have guests with you? Hello.
Oh, welcome.
Oh, guests from Louisville.
Wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
I'm looking online to see if there's anything. Oh, Cynthia wants to share that she accepted a new position and is now the Director of Fan Development and Communications in that new place. Wonderful. Keep looking. We're about 15. They are 15 minutes behind us.
Seconds.
So, seconds. I'm sorry, not minutes. We'll be here a long time.
I'll do one there.
Oh, you have one?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wednesday night, we had our first tag group, our teen group, and we had 16 kids here, and we had a study on anti-Semitism in schools and it was marvelous. I want to thank Sarah Markowitz from the Jewish Community Relations Board for facilitating that. And those kids were really into the conversation. And I got 3 emails from parents yesterday saying how excited the kids were when they got home.
Wonderful, thank you. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So today I have today is the last Shabbat of Elul, so I have the last poem from Rabbi Rachel Barenblatt's book called Simi Elul Poems. And this week is the week of the waning half moon. And on this 28th day of the month of Elul, the poem is titled Give.
Okay.
Another chance, is that so much to ask? Give me a do-over. Let me erase these wild formulae from the blackboard and write love letters instead. Hand me the screwdriver. I want to fix the things I cobbled together in haste. The hinges between us hanging broken. I won't waste this time. Look how time itself gleams. Every moment a dewdrop beating the finest of spider webs. Every morning when I open my eyes, I'll shout blessings from the deck. That's my soul enlivens this body. Still, I won't take it for granted. I'll take a spoon in my pocket and taste everywhere you take me. And I'll remember to give compliments. I'll crease cynicism into quarters like a battered old road map and throw it away. I'll navigate by whatever coordinates you give me.
I love that. Crease cynicism into quadrants like an old map.
And throw it away.
Throw it away. Amen.
We now gather our simchas as we offer a prayer. Divine source of blessings, we thank you for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now with gratitude as we share the happiness of those who have marked their birthday, anniversaries, good news, and accomplishments. Adonai, be with them now and always. May they be blessed with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow, and with much health and happiness, now and always, as we honor each one of you for the gifts that you bring to our sacred community. We now join together in song to mark this sacred occasion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. It is time for Ask the Rabbi. We do this only a few times a year, and we do it normally right before the holidays. And Leslie will keep me on time. So again, the questions are about high holidays. If you ask about something else, I'll just move on. So I'll skip you. No, I'm serious. I can answer any questions. But if you want to ask about high holidays, anything is fair game. And Dave or Aviva will monitor the Facebook feed to see if we have any questions. We have a question, and Leslie will repeat it.
What I'd like to know, Rabbi, is did the shofar, the tradition of the shofar, was that before the destruction of the first temple? And I take responsibility. It's kind of a loaded question. And so, if it was before the destruction of the first temple, is the shofar considered a musical instrument based on the decree that there would not be instrumental music in the synagogue after the destruction of both temples.
Let's see if I can sum this
I don't
up.
know if I did a
Does the
really
tradition of the shofar come before the destruction of the first temple? And if so, is a shofar considered a musical instrument because we are told we're not allowed to play musical instruments until we go back to the temple? Is that about right?
That's exactly right.
All right, it's a very good question. So, the issue here, first issue, is that we assume that Rosh Hashanah and the shofar are together all the way back to the first temple period, and we're talking about the year 1000 or so to the year 586 before the Common Era. So that's kind of the period of the monarchy, King David and Solomon, and united Israel. And then after that, you get separate kingdoms in the south and in the north. The fact of the matter is that there's no real record of the celebration of Rosh Hashanah the way that we do it today, in which the shofar is part of the celebrations. Now, there is a much more complex issue because the text in the Torah that talks about the shofar does not mention Rosh Hashanah. Now, at the beginning of the Rosh Hashanah service, the evening, we read it, and sometimes we sing it, Tiku b'chodesh shofar b'kesel hayom chageinu, meaning, you shall sound the shofar, Tiku b'chodesh shofar, at the first of the month. Well, yes, I mean, there are at least 12 of those, sometimes 13. So why is Rosh Hashanah associated with the shofar? And b'kesel hayom chageinu, it says Yom Chageinu is the day of our, to proclaim the day of our celebration, of our holiday. Well, I mean, Rosh Chodesh was actually a bigger holiday in biblical times. So if I were to read that text, I would assume that they're talking about Rosh Chodesh. Now, Rosh Hashanah happens to be Rosh Chodesh too. It's the first of the year. So the shofar was around. It was not just associated with Rosh Hashanah. Now, the shofar is not considered a musical instrument. However, the prohibition against musical instruments, it's of dubious origin. I just finished, I taught a class at the Day of Discovery, and I'm sorry you weren't able to be there, but you would have learned that in the 16th century, there are several responsum several responses that kind of goes back through all the sources to show that perhaps that wasn't really the case, that that musical instruments were not really forbidden after that. But of course, certain rabbinic authorities did that, and then they were gone. Now, the interesting piece is that the shofar is treated like something similar to a musical instrument, and that is the reason why in a traditional synagogue, when you have 2 days of Rosh Hashanah and one of those is on Shabbat, the shofar is not sounded. So what happens in the Reform movement is that from time to time, Rosh Hashanah is also on a Friday. If we don't sound the shofar on Shabbat, then we don't get to sound the shofar on Shabbat, and you will all be very disappointed. But that's a traditional way. And the reason there, it's the traditional reason is called a muktzeh, something that is an object that may lead you to a transgression. Like if the shofar breaks and you would be tempted to fix it, and fixing things on Shabbat is forbidden, then you don't do it. So that's a long answer, but it's a good question. Thank you. Any questions on I have one question here.
Is there a role for fear in the high holy days?
You know, it's interesting because always felt when I came to America that the name of the high holidays, by translating it as the high holidays, has been sanitized, meaning that they basically, in English, we took out the fear piece of high holidays. Now, you know, in a child, that's the difference. So that's more about like, you know, was that child abuse or whatever, you know, they were trying to do, you know, trying to make people, you know, too fearful about things. That's another story. But in Hebrew, the high holidays are called Hayamim Hanoraim, meaning the fearful days or the days of awe. Sometimes you see that, which again, to me, that's a sanitized version, you know, because awe and fear is not the same. Now, the idea of it is, so in Hebrew there are two words for fear, and I just want to make sure we clarify this. We have the word pachad, which appears a lot in the high holidays. In our new prayer book, in our new machzor, we have taken out from in the Reform movement, we've taken out a lot of the intermediary blessings and sections in the Amidah, in the standing prayer. So we go basically from, you know, Avot, Imaot, the regular things that we do, to the Kedushat, and then we move on. But in between, there are all the sections that begins with the word Uvchen Pachdecha, meaning, and therefore your fear, and it's right there, and they're one after the other. So I don't know how you picked up on that, but certainly the word fear was in a lot in the prayer books. But the word that we use to describe the high holidays in Hebrew is the word norah, which means more like awesome and reverence inspiring more than fear. I do think, and I agree with you, I mean, I don't agree with whoever told you to be fearful about that, but I do think that there's a lot of that reverence that has been lost. I don't know how to instill it in people without, you know, giving them nightmares. But the idea to me is like there is, and there's a struggle, I think, in the liberal denominations in which we have kind of lost the idea of reverence and obligation and all the things. I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's not there anymore. So if somebody, you know, more traditional, or maybe when you were growing up, you know, to miss high holidays was a big thing. Now, around the country, it's not uncommon that Jewish children, even if they can, they would go to school on Yom Kippur or on Rosh Hashanah. Because, you know, they're more fearful about not getting into college than about whatever, you know, we have taught them. So it's a problem, but I don't want to go to the extremes. I'm looking to see if there's anybody online. How are we doing with time, Leslie?
You have 5 minutes.
All right, so I wanted to bring something to you, answering my own question, but I think it's a question that many of us have, and I actually did a little teaching at one of the assisted living facilities here in town in preparation for high holidays, and we talked about this, and I realized, oh, maybe I should say this in the synagogue too. I mean, not just when I have lunch with people, because I thought maybe other people may be interested. It is about the origin of one of the central prayers of the high holidays, and it's not called Nidre, but Avinu Malkeinu. Now, Avinu Malkeinu, like the shofar, it was not associated with either Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur at all. Originally, although it is recited on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the Talmud records the actual origin of this is very rare. We don't really have a lot of prayers that says, and here's the story how this prayer came to be. I mean, Kol Nidre, mystery, nobody knows. mean, there are a lot of speculation, but you don't have a text that says, and this is why we say Kol Nidre. But we do have one for Avinu Malkeinu. And it's in the Bavli Ta'anit in the Babylonian Talmud. Masechet Ta'anit means the tractate of fast. Once Rabbi Eliezer came before the ark, and this is kind of how, that means like he was leading the service, and recited the 24 blessings set on fast days. Neither, Yom Kippur is a fast day, but it's not counted in this, and certainly not Rosh Hashanah. And but his prayer was not answered. So Rabbi Akiva came out before the ark and exclaimed, Avinu Malkeinu, we have no ruler but you. Avinu Malkeinu, have mercy upon us for your own sake, whereupon the rain fell. Now, I can guarantee you that most Jews in the pew do not associate Avinu Malkeinu with a prayer for rain. I just tell you, that's just not the first association, and you can test it. Ask your fellow congregant on who are not here or listening on Rosh Hashanah. Oh, what do you think this prayer is about? The rain piece will never come up, but it is. Now, the idea here, how it's connected to high holidays, is that Rabbi Akiva was someone who, among other things, was a great sage, but he was also very forgiving, very kind. So the idea here is that if you are really in the right, this is my interpretation, that you're right kind of set of mind, and you are forgiving of others, and you are kind to others, then when on Rosh Hashanah or on Yom Kippur you say Avinu Malkeinu, then your prayers will be answered. There are actually 24 traditional lines of Avinu Malkeinu, and they're different on Rosh Hashanah than they are on Yom Kippur. Excuse me. And the question then is, how do we get to those? Well, that's a long story. Different rabbis added, throughout the centuries, different lines to Avinu Malkeinu. The curious piece that I spoke when I taught the class was that a lot of people, when you asked them about the melodies for Avinu Malkeinu, and this happens a lot in Judaism, say, well, would you sing the traditional one? I'm like, okay, what do you mean? And what they mean is Avinu Malkeinu. Well, it's been traditional since 1951. I understand that you're very attached to it. But very briefly, Max Janowski, who composed Avinu Malkeinu in 1951 while living in Chicago, he had no training in cantorial anything. He was an accompanist. He was a very accomplished musician, but he was not a liturgist. That's not what he did. He happened to had a job in 1939 when he came to America from Europe. Well, actually, he came from Japan, but that's another story. He came and got the job as the organist at a congregation in Chicago, and then he started hanging out with cantors in the area. And one of them says, hey, I have this melody, that I've used to sing, and it's actually a traditional melody. This cantor had learned it somewhere, and he shared it with him, and he says, I'm going to compose this, and I'm going to make a whole thing out of this, which he did, and big hit, right? Because now we did actually, this I'm going to share with all of you if you don't mind, Leslie sharing this. We do service after high holidays every year, and we did get, I don't know if you were the person who did it, and we apologize if you were. We don't know your name, but you wrote, we didn't do Avinu Malkeinu. And we're like, how many times didn't you come to services you didn't hear Avinu Malkeinu? Because we did it, and we do it every year. And we actually, because it's so, people are so attached, I feel, to Avinu Malkeinu, we do both melodies. We do Avinu Malkeinu, and we do Avinu Malkeinu. So we cover all the bases. So you won't be disappointed this year. If you come, we promise we're going to do a Vino Malkeinu at every service that we have an opportunity to do, and we do both versions, correct? Am I putting my foot in my mouth?
No, I sing so much of Inu Malkano.
There you go.
I mean, I love it, but yeah, we sing it every service.
But so whoever thinks that the Janowskis of Vino Malkeinu is a traditional, they are half right. But it was really not composed until 1951. But it goes all the way back to the Talmud, the words at least, to Rabbi Akiva. All right, well, thank you for your questions. And if you have others that you didn't get answered, you're going to have to wait until next year.
Or come tomorrow morning.
Okay, come tomorrow morning, right.
We're doing Ask the Rabbi again in the morning.
I'm going to skip my other sections. And if you're all able, we invite you to turn to page 78. So we rise together for Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Thank you. As we prepare for our moment of remembrance, I invite you to turn to page 81. Our mission is to plant ourselves at the gates of hope, not the prudent gates of optimism, which are somewhat narrower, nor the stalwart, boring gates of common sense, nor the strident gates of self-righteousness, which creak on shrill and angry hinges. People cannot hear us there. They cannot pass through. Nor the cheerful, flimsy gate of everything is going to be all right, but a different, sometimes lonely place, a truth telling about your own soul, first of all, and its condition, the place of residence and defiance, from which you see the world both as it is and as it should be, as it will be. The place from which you glimpse not only struggle, but joy in the struggle. And we stand there, beckoning and calling, telling people what we are seeing, asking them what they see. As a congregation, we are observing the Shiva period for Robert G. Shaw, husband of Jeannie Shaw, and Marcia Eisenberg, mother of Diana Hurst. And on this Shabbat, we remember the following yortzites of members of our congregation: Marilyn Abraham, Marianne Allen, Warner Julius Berg, David Tim Blond, Carmela D'Angelo Aldieri, William Duncan, Judy P. Epstein, John Esser Jr., Stanley Freeman, Sharon Golden, Michael Hamovitz, Nona Katz, Anna Krasnaya, Nancy Levine, Jack Miller, Paul Pizer, Bessie Polsky, Haskell Rosenblum, Ben-Zion Rothstein, Audrey Rubin, Richard Schlesinger, Max Schrago, Cyril Skikny, Emma Steinzig, Michael Mark Sussman, Jacqueline Tremken, Gail Watt, Jerry Yegan, Fanny Sisman de Chaes. Zichronam Livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Page 86, we rise the congregation for Kaddish Yatom, the mourners' Kaddish. Itgadal ve'itkadash shemei Rabba, be'alema divra chirute ve'amlich malchute, bechayechon u'v'yamechon u'bechaye dechol beit Israel, ba'agala u'vizman karev v'imru amen. Yehe shemei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalemei alemaya, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דא אמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
It's time for some announcements.
This is Aviva's song. The announcements are coming, they won't take too long. If you want to do some Jewish, she won't steer you wrong. This is Aviva's song. This is Aviva's song.
Thank you very much to everyone who led this service, Rabbi Katapon, Leslie Zucker, Howard Pittler, and Warren Sickle. Thank you to Peter Pizer and Ron Zipper for welcoming us all home tonight. And thank you to Dave for going above and beyond and further beyond our walls. We were just, we're getting ready for Sunday and Monday to continue live streaming and enabling everyone to be with us physically and virtually. A few quick announcements. Tomorrow morning, we will continue our Shabbat celebration with Sichat Shabbat, our Shabbat class at 9 o'clock a.m. All are welcome to join us here in the library and also on Zoom. Then at 10:30 a.m., we will come together for our Shabbat morning service, which again will include Ask the Rabbi. So if there are any questions that you wake up in the middle of the night tonight, realizing, wait a second, I forgot that one, come on over tomorrow, and you can get them answered. As was mentioned numerous times, Rosh Hashanah begins on Sunday night. So if you have not registered, it's not a problem. Just come speak to me after the service or send me an email online. We're very excited to come together in person. The Erev Rosh Hashanah service begins at 7:30 p.m. in person and online. And then on Monday, this is the schedule. So 9 o'clock a.m. family experience for ages 8 and under, and that will be in the library, only in person. 10:30 a.m. Rosh Hashanah morning service here with everyone and online as well. Following the service, we will have our Rosh Hashanah luncheon, when we're very excited to learn even more about the Good Faith Network, which is our main social justice initiative. We are one of 20 organizations in this multi-faith social justice organization. So we're very excited for that. During the luncheon, there will also be a youth group schmooze for ages 9 and up, which will be at the picnic tables outside. And then finally, at 1:15 p.m., we will meet outside for Tashlich, so we can cast away our sins in the water in Beth Torah Park, right behind us. So it is a full morning, and it doesn't stop there. 1 week from right now, we'll be back here for Shabbat services with Rabbi Mark Levin. So it will be a Beit Midrash, a house of learning. The evening will go something like this. Services beginning at 6:30 p.m. Then we will dedicate the newest plaques in our memorial room together. Then we will have a Mediterranean dinner, and finally hear from Rabbi Mark Levin, Religion and Politics, the Role of Judaism. So there's a lot going on. We are asking for RSVPs for next Friday, so you can let me know in person or online. With that, Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you many times in the next week. And just a quick reminder, if you're going to the supermarket, go ahead and fill up the brown paper bag that was in your Rosh Hashanah gift, because we are collecting for Jewish Family Service. We have 10 barrels to fill and overfill of household and non-perishable items. Thank you. Oh, and I forgot that. It's okay.
Thank you, Aviva. We rise together, if you're able, and join us in singing Hashivenu. It's on page 92.
Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai, Elecha, Ben Hashuvah, Ben Hashuvah, Kadesh, Kadesh, Yameinu Kekedem. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai, Elecha, Ben Hashuvah, Ben Hashuvah, Kadesh, Kadesh, Yameinu Kekedem. Kadesh, Kadesh, Yameinu Kekedem.
We turn to page 90, number 4, the last reading, the last Shabbat of Elul. The shofar sounds, and I am awake, shaken out of the days of sleep. I see the truth. The day of judgment approaches. Soon will we stand before the one who can be flatter or full. Soon we will stand in the courtroom of conscience. Soon we will know the joy of beginning anew. Tekiah, shevarim et ruach. Tekiah. Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Join us for Kiddush and Amotzi in the Ulam.
Take care of each other out there.